Good morning from London, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. And it is my pleasure and privilege to invite you to this, the opening session of the ISRM, Institute of Strategic Risk Management, CSWP, Center for the Study of Wicked Problems, Global Urban Resilience in the 21st Century, 3-day virtual conference. We have set this conference up to mark the launching of our first of all, the launch of the Center for the Study of Wicked Problems, but also to launch our first major program, which is a global urban resilience program over 18 months, run with our local and our international partners. And I'm delighted to say in full partnership with the UK National Preparedness Commission, run by Lord Toby Harris, who we have here. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that. The format, for those of you who know the ISRM, and I'm sure many of you have been on the ISRM events before, and welcome back. Those of you for whom this is your first time attending, welcome. It's delightful to have you here, and we look forward to having an interaction with you both here and ongoing and in the future. But the format will be the same as for most of our events. There will be no presentations. Hopefully there'll be no monologues. It will be a round the table, open discussion between people who've devoted their lives to exploring issues around global urban resilience, how our cities work, how we can manage them, and developing and putting in place and managing policies around that. Each of our speakers will have an opportunity to introduce themselves and to talk about some of the issues that they're facing, which they believe are important. We will then have about 35, 40 minutes of open roundtable discussion, and then we will open up to the floor to take your questions and your comments. Please do so. Everything that you see will be recorded, is being recorded, and will be made available to you in an edited form. If you leave your comments, please do so. There is a global community of experts in our audience, which we're delighted to have. Feel free to leave your comments. That will be published as part of the proceedings from these events. So it's an opportunity to share your thoughts with our global community. But before we move on, let me introduce very briefly our participants, our panelists today. They will introduce themselves. We start off with Lord Toby Harris. Toby, as always, good to see you. Toby is the chair of the UK National Preparedness Commission. He is a man with deep and long experience in all sorts of government, some of which was pleasurable, some of which have still, I think you're recovering from the scars, Toby. I'm sure that we will hear about that. But Toby is also, I'm delighted to say, has been, since our very first day, the president of the ISRM. And we have been delighted to have had that support, so thank you for that. And we look forward to hearing your thoughts on that. We come across to Jaroslav Romanchuk. Jaroslav is a noted economist, social and political economist, has been working at the highest level of government and national strategic policy development in both Belarus and in Ukraine, where I recently met him. He was in 2010 the Belarus presidential candidate, so is very much involved in creating national level strategic policy. Jaroslav, welcome. Sheela Patel is an old friend of the ISRM, based in India, but with a voice that has been heard around the world for over 40 years in basically empowering the disempowered, those people who live on the edges of our urban environments and are often, and actually at the center of the urban environments, and are often completely forgotten in the discussion about what a city is in the 21st century.